We have some pretty significant news to discuss here this afternoon. We have some more big news from the NHL waiver wire, including another claim. The Lightning have claimed a goaltender from the Los Angeles Kings. We have 18 new players facing waivers today and some huge signings today, including one with Florida and Anaheim. A lot more coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty interesting and important NHL news to discuss here, most of which comes from the NHL waiver wire, but we do have some big signings to look at as well. We have ourselves another waiver claim here in the preseason of the 25-26 NHL season. The Tampa Bay Lightning have claimed goaltender Phoenix Copley on waivers from the Los Angeles Kings. The fact that Tampa is looking to add to their goaltending position makes me wonder if there's more going on with Andrei Vasilevskiy than we know. I haven't seen any updates. I'm not aware of any other injuries to any other goalies, but we know Vasilevskiy has been inconspicuously absent from most of training camp, doing a lot of stuff on his own. They've been pretty quiet about it and haven't really wanted to say too much, but I do wonder if there's concern he's not going to start the season. We'll have to see where this goes. Otherwise, you wouldn't think they'd be picking up another goaltender for insurance here, but we'll have to wait for more details from the Lightning on that front. As I mentioned, so Copley goes from LA to Tampa in that scenario. Of course, he was destined to be the number 3 goaltender for the Los Angeles Kings. Of course, they have Darcy Kuemper and Anton Forsberg playing ahead of them, but still, good depth to have in the organization. Copley does have a decent amount of NHL experience from years here recently through the Kings organization mostly. So we'll see how things work out in Tampa. New on waivers today. We have the Columbus Blue Jackets placing Damon Hunt on waivers. We have the Calgary Flames with Rory Cairns, goaltender Ivan Prosvetov, and defenseman Ilya Solovyov. The Oilers have Cam Dineen and Riley Stillman, couple defensemen there. Pittsburgh has defenseman Sebastian Aho. Of course, that's not the Carolina Aho. Don't get that confused. Forward Danton Heinen. That's an interesting name with NHL experience that might be looked at. They also have Phil Kemp, Joona Koppanen, Philip Larson, and Valtteri Puustinen. So I do wonder if a team might take a shot on Heinen. You never know. He does have a decent amount of experience before. The Seattle Kraken also have Ben Myers and Mitchell Stevens. The Utah Mammoth have Ben McCartney and defenseman Scott Perunovich. The Vancouver Canucks have Vitaly Kravtsov, who was making a return to the NHL this year after playing overseas last year. Obviously didn't do well enough with the Canucks to crack a roster spot. I wonder if somebody would take a flyer on him to give him an opportunity. Be interesting to see how that works out. And Vegas has defenseman Dylan Coughlin and Tanner Lisinski. So some interesting names there, to say the least. Also, we have some big signings and a contract extension for an NHL head coach, and that's Flames head coach Ryan Huska. Of course, was hired by Craig Conroy. He's done a decent job in Calgary. We know the team is going through some retool. I'm not sure if you want to call it a retool, rebuild, what have you, but they certainly have turning over their roster and trying to add more youth the past few years for sure. Huska's done, I think, a relatively decent job there, so not shocked to find out that he gets a 2-year extension. The bigger news, though, is a couple of the signings we got today. Florida Panthers have extended another piece of their cup-winning team. Niko Mikkola, the big defenseman, gets an 8-year extension with an average annual value of $5 million, which is pretty good for somebody who's, would be considered a second pair defenseman. I mean, $5 million on the AAV for somebody who plays the type of minutes he is and whatnot. Pretty good value, I will say. The Panthers now have pretty well everybody. The only one that's not locked up long-term anymore is goaltender Sergei Bobrovsky, who's entering the final year of his contract. 37 years old, so based on what they did with Marchand, they'll probably sign him to a 7-year deal, right? I'm just kidding, but it just seems like a lot of these older guys are getting long-term deals, and I do, not so much Mikkola, but like other guys, like I do wonder if that trend continues, though, if the league will look at it. But we know that Bobrovsky doesn't seem to be ready to retire, so I suspect they will talk to him about extending, but I don't know what those terms look like just yet. But Mikkola, 8 years, $5 million. That's pretty good. I mean, they now have Seth Jones, Aaron Ekblad, Forsling, and Mikkola all locked up long term. They've got Kulikov for a couple more years too. I mean, in the forward group, they've got Barkov, Kachuk, Bennett, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, all signed long-term. Lundell's got some decent term there as well. We'll see if Rodriguez makes it through without being a cap casualty this year, but he's got a couple years in his contract too. So I mean, really, like there's not much there in Florida that's been part of their cup-winning championships the past couple of years that's not extended long-term. And, of course, even Marchand, who I didn't mention, signed a longer-term contract in the offseason as well, even at age 37, which is hence the joke about Bobrovsky. But the other big signing today is, this one has shocked me, to be honest. Anaheim Ducks have signed young breakout defenseman, we'll call him, Jackson Lacombe. 8-year deal at $9 million a season. He's now the highest paid Anaheim Ducks player in the history of the franchise. Jackson Lacombe is a great young D. I really like Jackson Lacombe, but I will, like I said, I'm not going to lie, this extension shocked me. Obviously, the fact that Pat Verbeek and the Ducks are willing to give this contract to Lacombe a year early, because he's obviously, he's still not due, right? So this kicks in next year. And look at what they've done with some of their other RFAs, most notably recently here, Mason McTavish, who the contract expires. He's an RFA, no contract, and they grinded him all summer to the point that he missed more than half a training camp to settle on a 7 or 6x7 deal. Like, what? Like, they grind McTavish like that. I mean, we've seen them. They grinded Troy Terry back a couple of years ago, pretty good. I mean, look at Zegras before he was moved. But then they just hand over $9 million over 8 years to Lacombe. I like Lacombe. I think he's really good. But the concern, I guess, is does he have another level to get to? That's the big question, because if he doesn't, and is he the long-term solution to being their power play quarterback and top offensive defenseman? Because you're not going to want to have a scenario where you don't have enough confidence in him. On, like, right now, I'm sure they do, but like long-term, in a couple of years' time, if they determine that, geez, maybe we need somebody better to be the power play quarterback for the team to continue improving and take more steps and be playoffs and all that stuff, then they might be like, ooh, okay, because look at the Devils with Luke Hughes, right? Luke Hughes probably progressed a little faster and got to be the team's top defenseman a little quicker than they might have thought. Now suddenly Dougie Hamilton's in the rumor mill about getting moved, and that $9 million contract that they needed to sign him to be that guy. Suddenly they're like, oh, geez, maybe that might be better spent on something else, right? So it just goes to show you that, does he have more of a level to improve to? And is he that long-term solution to be the power play specialist and be the top quarterback? Because that's ultimately what the $9 million is geared towards. So I hope for their sake it works out. I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying of all the contracts we've seen lately, I just feel this one comes with some risk. Because if he can continue to improve and continue to get better, maybe he'll age and evolve into that quite nicely, and it'll be a great deal. I just think there is some risk associated, more so than what we've seen with McTavish or other Duck players, that they've really grinded, and they've done this one a little faster and earlier than I thought. So obviously there's a bit of a run on defensemen lately. We saw Luke Hughes, Lacombe. I wonder how long. I'm sure Lane Hudson sees that and is licking his chops going, ooh, that's great, because he's going to be one of the next young up-and-coming defensemen here to sign a big deal. After a breakout rookie campaign, Calder Trophy, he had more points than Lacombe. So, looking at all these things, if Lacombe's a $9 million defenseman, what's Hudson, 11 and a half, 12? I don't know what he is, right? So, there's been some talks that the Habs have been trying to have discussions around that with Hudson's camp. I don't know how eager and quick they are. I think they're content to wait. So we'll see. I mean, maybe they see these other deals and decide to jump on and get something done here soon. I think it'd be good for the team. I'm not sure it'd be good for Hudson. If he has a season like last year or better, then his price tag is just going to continue to rise. So I'm sure the team is wanting to get ahead of it, but it just depends on how quickly he and his agent want to, which we'll find out here soon enough. So let me know your thoughts on the waivers news and the big signings here today. We'll discuss further in the comments. If you're new to the channel, of course, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.